Hey guys, what's up? It's Chris in real life. I'm going to do another segment of Chiefs Talk. If you guys haven't been paying attention, there has been another audio recording release of Tyreek Hill and his fiance, Crystal Espinal, I think is how you pronounce her last name. Essentially, in this audio recording that's been released, it's from what's been said, is a full unedited audio recording. And so the biggest questions that come up is, what's in the extra recording? And just to get right off the bat, this is predominantly going to be for people that may not have time to listen to the full thing. I'm not going to be including it in this video, but I will be including a direct link in the description below. So if you guys want to check that out before you come back and watch this, this is going to sort of give, spoil, I can't even say it. Damn. Spoiler alerts. I do want to go over and talk about some of the stuff that was said in the video, and just sort of, hear what your guys' opinions are. And if you guys have already heard it, let me know what you guys think. Essentially, it adds about at least another 4 or 5 minutes to the original recording that was released. So the biggest thing is, why was the audio that was given to, these news companies and officials, maybe even, how did they not know that the audio recording that they did have was not edited, aside if it was just released to the news? So going forward, some of the extra stuff that's in there, and a huge piece that's entirely left out, is basically this probably 3-minute segment on the additional 5 or 6 minutes, is Tyreek Hill going in and even talking about how this is just like 2014 all over again. And for those of you who may not know, in 2014, back when he was in college before he was drafted, there was abuse allegations that came up in reference to how she was pregnant and he had abused her. And long story short, he ends up just pleading guilty, talking about, some of, how he should get better. And I think that him looking back on that time in general, he wanted to be open and honest and just try to sort of get it and move it in the past, instead of prolonging and it turning into a 1-year, maybe even longer ordeal, and, eventually maybe even keeping him out of the NFL. But in the video, if you go back and listen to the audio recording, they talk about how this is just like 2014 all over again. You know that I never even did anything. So, and then he asks her questions. Did I hit you? Did I punch you? No. And what's glaringly obvious is she jumps around the question. She doesn't even want to talk about that. She wants to move it back to the kids stuff. And even then, with the more details that are in there and how they go through describing about things, honestly, it makes Tyreek Hill sound a lot more innocent. I'm not saying completely innocent, and I don't think that even in the audio version he even says he's 100% innocent. He even says, could I do things better? I believe so. He sounds like a genuine person and an honest person across the board in the entire audio. So I think it's very interesting, and it makes you wonder back about how he just had his investigation or questioning from the NFL that took place in Kansas City, and it took about 8 to 10 hours long. One of the things that they don't talk about a lot is actually some of the 2 primary people that were questioning him were actually female reporters and investigators that came for the NFL to do the questioning. So I think that it's very obvious that if there is a suspension, the only thing that, going back and listening to the entire audio, the only thing that I could possibly see that the only thing that I could see that they could still stick to him was obviously the thing that was huge before, predominantly huge before, is what he said, you should be scared of me too, B. And honestly, that it doesn't paint him in a good picture, but when you listen to the full conversation in context, he doesn't necessarily say, it doesn't necessarily sound as much of a threat. And I know that sounds weird, and I don't want to say or take away from how he could be implying that it is being said, but when you listen to more of it, she even says, he's scared of you too, and he says that there is no authority figure in the house, that she's not doing anything. He does go on to say that, she does or has spanked him, even though uses or has used a belt on him as a punishment. But predominantly he sort of says, you don't do any punishments. You let him walk all over you. He knows that when daddy comes home, things need to be a certain way. He expects a certain thing. And he even says that we're a black family growing up and he's a black kid, and white people don't care about us. White people don't care about our kids, and, let's be real. So he wants to basically instill in his son to act a certain way, so that way that he could be seen in, essentially the light of white people, I guess, if you want to put it that way, as being respectful. He's very conscientious of, making sure that his son is respectful across the board. So I think that, like I said, do I think that he's entirely innocent? No. Do I think that he should have his son taken away from him? I don't think necessarily. I do think for the safety of the entire household, based on what's going on, because in my eyes, and I think in a lot of other people's eyes, the way that the audio was edited and released, I do believe that it painted Tyreek in a darker light, as news would, hashtag fake news. I think it intentionally painted him in a negative light, where I do think that there are deeper seated issues that are going on in that household. I think that especially based on what he had said in regards to 2014, I do think that he needs to get out of that relationship. I do think that his fiance is crazy and indefinitely trying to sabotage his career. I think that maybe even part of it, Tyreek sort of knew that it sounded like he was being baited, the way that she was questioning and coming back to something, and it sounded like she was forcefully trying to get something out of him. And when he did say, I want to talk about this, I need you to sit down, and for this entire plane ride, I need you to think about what happened in 2014. They mentioned that they had made love, and that after they had done that, something had come up, and he had taken her phone and went into the restroom and went through some of her messages, and I guess had sent a message to someone that she may have been unfaithful with, or someone that was trying to get with her, and he wasn't okay with that. And he had said that he had basically grabbed her, and yes, and not in the most necessarily gentle way, but he said that he had picked her up and put her outside, and he's like, do you remember that? Yes. And she said, and he says, when you left my house, did you have a bruise on your face? Did I punch you in the face? Did I punch you in the lip? Did I do any of these other things? And she immediately tries to change the subject. So I think that there's a lot more that's going on, and I would be really interested to see, what you guys think of it. If you guys haven't heard the audio, like I said, I'm going to, down below in the link, or in the bio, I'm going to put a link to the episode that I used to watch. He's another sports guy that does videos like this, so you should check him out. If you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I'm gonna try to expand my channel a little bit more, maybe talk about some of the other stuff. Like I said, it's not gonna be a bunch of this fluffy stuff. It's not gonna be a bunch of, you know, these cool colors and stuff like that. I might add just like a intro screen eventually. This is just sort of something that I'm doing on my way to work. That's why I call it Chris in Real Life, because I want it to be unedited. I don't want any of that crazy stuff. So this is just me, and it's me trying to talk to you guys, talk about, you know, what's going on, you know, share some of my opinions, get to know some of the other Chiefs people that are out there on the internet. It's a really exciting time for us, and maybe even get some of the other people in there as well. You know, I like and follow some of the other sports teams, some of which that, you know, aren't good. I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm a bandwagon or anything like that. I've been a fan of the Chiefs, you know, as far back as I can remember. You know, Elvis Gerback wasn't even that great, but you know, Montana is right around the time that I started watching with my dad. So, you know, it was pretty exciting back then too. So, yeah, I might do some of these other videos. Something else, you know, might come up. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with Ezekiel Elliott. You know, so I might do top running backs, sleepers, you know, fantasy stuff. If you guys have suggestions for stuff that you may want me to talk about, shoot a comment, and I'll give you a shout out, and maybe the next video, and we can dig into that a little bit deeper. Like I said, I just want to get to know and hang out and talk with some of the other people from the Chiefs community and the football community. It's something that I love doing, and yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think. Listen to the full audio, and it brings up a lot of questions, and if anything, there may be more doubt. The thing that is scary is I know that they're trying to wrap this thing up before training camp. So before that happens, I think that they might pull this in for review again, and honestly, it's scary because it doesn't look good as far as the kid side. And even as they said in some of the reports before, they took the kid out of the house because they don't believe that either parent is really fit for the kid. And with a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, and stuff that's coming back with when she was pregnant, and did he really do these things, and, you know, did his agent tell him just to sort of bite the bullet and, you know, plead guilty, get it done and over with, do your time, grind, and you'll get on a team. And honestly, that may have been the best way at the time. So it really is a shame, and I want to know, like I said, I want to know what you guys think. It's kind of crazy. So send a comment, like and subscribe, check out, I'm gonna put in the link below. You guys have a good one, and till next time.